Good day, gamers. Purple Mentat here, bringing you episode 25 of my Regrowth Let's Play. Oh man, I didn't realize until just now that it took out a bunch of my vine tower. I really need to finish repairing this wall. I just got back from PAX, so things got kind of left off. Alright, we've moved a bunch of the Botania stuff over here as promised with a couple of key enhancements. For one, I have my terrestrial agglomeration plate in the same area as my Elven Gateway core, so I can make all of my advanced materials in one nice little place. Also, I have a sticky piston on one of the living wood blocks of the Elven Gateway core, so I can easily disable it when I'm not using it, because I can instead stock up materials to mass transmute, and it will actually, despite what the book says, end up cheaper on mana in the long run to leave it deactivated and only turn it on when I want to use it. And try to get myself stocked up with a lot of materials to trade through so that I can just have a stockpile and not need to turn it on and off all the time. Over here, we're building a new mana generation system, which I need a lot more endo flames for. I've measured out that the endo flames can grab fuel up to 3 blocks away. So that gives me a 7x7 area that I can fill with endo flames, except for these 3 spots. And there's probably even a more efficient way to do it than that, but I'm not worried about it because that gives me 46 endo flames if I really want to go just bananas with it. And yeah, that's going to be pretty great. I wonder if I can even build a coal supply that can keep up with that. For now, just these 7 on their own are doing so well that I'm not even going to bother putting up the night blooms and day blooms and hydrangeas, because these generate so much more mana that just the 7 of these is just like an order of magnitude more mana than all of those other flowers put together. It's just not even worth bothering. For the monitoring with the comparator, I wanted to not eat up all of my land space that was going to be part of the day blooms, so I'm going to be running it underground instead. The comparator runs redstone into here. Right now I've got the lever on just to kind of demonstrate that it will indeed stop things. And it's not running far enough to stop it. Like, for example, this thing is outputting power 15 on this space, and by the time you get over into the repeater, it's at power 5. So that's only like 10 or 11 blocks. So we're still going to want the lever feeding into the side to force this thing to get to full power before it shuts itself off. And all it does is it comes out, around, down a space, down another space, so that I can fill this area with dirt without cutting anything off. I'm going to have to leave a gap right here, but I think there might be a way around that, and I'm going to experiment with that in just a moment. And then it's coming down and it's hitting a repeater here just to make absolutely certain that it ends up, well, like, if I remove this repeater and put in redstone here instead, it will connect with this will end up a 4-way, and it will not shut off this torch. There are other ways to do this, pardon me, than using a repeater, but this was the easiest way without digging some more. Your other option would be actually to do this number here, where you would go there, get rid of that, and then use your redstone to travel like this. And that will shut it off. And this is, again, one of those vertical signal transmission setups where there's a redstone torch, and then it's shutting off normally another redstone torch. So when the signal comes in, it turns off the thing that's shutting this torch off. And that torch, when it is on, shuts off this torch, same as this lever would, same as this pressure plate would. So there you go. There you have it. That's how it all ends up working. Now, to fill in down there... Actually, did I get my repeater back? Yeah, there we go. I love thinking of a way to refine things after I start telling you guys about it. It almost makes me wonder, why didn't I think of that in the first place? This is so much better. Alright, so let me show you something. If I put the block here, it's going to cut the redstone. This will be powered. This block is currently redstone powered. In fact, if I were to put a torch on top of that block, it would flame out, because it's currently being powered by this redstone. but the redstone cannot just go through that block and down. So my options, I believe that I could make myself a cover, but I'm not 100% certain on that. And I believe also to do so, I'm going to need to silk touch up a block of grass to do so. So let's find out if I can, in fact, make a cover there and have the redstone flow under it without causing troubles. We're just going to use our saw to chop this grass block into grass block covers. And then the other question is, can I plant an endoflame under grass block cover? Well, actually, it doesn't matter. This is out of the endoflame range. All right, that does in fact work. So there you go. You can use a cover to allow your redstone through. Now, you're not going to be able to do it here. If I were to put a cover... Oh, actually, it won't even let me place the cover there because the redstone's in the way, as you can see. Interesting. But I could put... Oops, hold shift, right click. I could put it there, which looks a little weird. But it does the job. So, there we are. That'll do for now. I'm happy with that. Alright, let's get the lever back into the proper position. Uh-oh. I don't know what breaking that redstone is going to do to the whole thing. Absolutely nothing. It worked fine. Great. Yay. I like when things work. Things working is awesome. And then this is just forcing the comparator to not output until it gets a power equal to or greater than 15, which basically means this mana pool is full. Now for transferring mana, since all of the mana is coming into this pool, which I actually want to be accepting mana from items, we're going to be using the recessive runes. We're going to, the recessive augments. We're going to stuff one on this spark, and it's going to start filling up all of these as well. If I right click on this guy, you can see that it's connected to that spark and both of these. If I right click on this one, yeah, it's beaming power all over the place right now. I don't know if it's filling up the closest one first, or if these... Oh, nope, these pools just filled up that fast. And then, I want mana pools all over my farms. So I have 8 mana pools set up around my 8 farming pads. Whee! Yeah, good times. And if I, for example, were to right-click this one, I can see that it's connected to that mana pool right there. That's where the power input for the whole system is going to be coming, and that's going to end up kind of a part of the big wall once it gets extended a little further. So what I need to do is I need to put a recessive on this, and then I need to put a recessive here and up top as well. And I'll make those off camera, get those done, but that way it's going to end up storing mana in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana pools full of mana before the system shuts off. So I need a better way to farm some coal, definitely, in the meantime. So let's go, well, actually, before we do that, let us grab ourselves a open crate and a hopper, so that we can get our... Ah, come on. I can... Okay, yeah, the open crate will happily coexist with the spark, it seems. So I can just throw my mana tablets in here and have them start draining into the pool? No? No, that didn't work. Okay. It does actually need to be up one more. That's okay. That's what temporary building blocks are for, right? And by temporary building blocks, in this case, I mean dirt. One more. There we are. Now we can actually get things set up. Maybe? There we go. Server's having some tick issues based entirely on the number of people that we have, which is causing a ton of chunks to load, which is causing a ton of... Wow, that mana pool is doing pretty well. This thing is spewing power out everywhere. Huh. Should be gaining power and sending it to these. Not certain why it's not doing that. Something go wrong with the spark? Something strange here has happened. Well, we're gonna reset that spark. Put the recessive back on it. interacting with the open crate may have caused issues. Maybe it just doesn't like having the open crate there at all. I'm very confused over why this is happening. Alright, I'm going to get this sorted out, and I'll return in a moment. Right. I'm being silly. I forgot that it will not send mana to another recessive pool, which means I'm not 100% certain how to finish the mana transfer, but I know that sparks are the answer, and I will study this another time and get it all sorted out. Whoops. That's okay. We can put away our excess mana tablets for the moment and just let it burn through the coal that it already has, and I will work on refining the system another time. I might actually just need to use... If I make... Yeah, I'm probably going to need to end up using spreaders at some point in here. I can't do purely wireless mana transmission, I suppose. That would be too good. Alright, so what do I want to work on today that's not messing around with the moved Botania system? Well, I would like to do two things. I want a slightly better way to manage my farms, specifically the harvesting, and I've got an option available to me. It's not perfect, but it's a little bit better. Oh, one other change that has happened that I need to cover before I go any further is the change to world anchors. As you can see, where my world anchor used to be is now a block of obsidian. Well, actually, I don't know if I ever showed that I was moving the world anchor here, but anyway, this is the remains of my world anchor. We are no longer allowing world anchors on the server because we ended up in a position where we had 6 people online and 10,000 chunks loaded. That seems a little much. So now if you craft, you can still craft a world anchor using 4 mana steel, a mana pearl, and 4 obsidian, but if you attempt to place it in the world with this config setting turned off, it should, there you go. It'll simply get deleted. It will disappear because of the config setting. Instead, what you're going to want to do is change your world anchor into a personal anchor. Now, the personal anchor functions very similarly to the world anchor. The difference being that it does not force chunks to load, it simply stops chunks from unloading, and if the owner logs off, will shut itself down after a few minutes. It still uses ender pearls for fuel, with 1 ender pearl being worth 12 hours, and yeah, it's just going to be a lot better for servers to use, enable the use of personal anchors, but disable the use of world anchors. So once again, I'm going to want it in this chunk over here. And unless I want to find a way to build it into my wall, I need it to not be a part of this 5 wide area. In fact, parts of this system are going to need to move as well at some point. So we'll just stick it right up here for now. And we're going to grab the... grab a hopper, fill it full of ender pearls. You know how that goes. So that this thing will keep everything loaded no matter where I go exploring, which will be great, but will not keep it loaded and pinging on the server when I'm not online. Right, it's over here. Derp. There you go, personal anchor. Enjoy your bounty of ender pearls. So now let's get on to my plan for the day. I would really like to get that better harvesting method set up. And I think the easiest way to do that is going to be, once again, building a Tinker's Construct tool out of pure netherrack, because I don't care too much about the stats of this tool, but the repairability is very important to me. All right, I'm going to need 2 tough netherrack rods, 1 tough netherrack binding, and 1 netherrack scythe blade head, or scythe head. And in the tool forge, we're going to assemble the scythe. Oh, that's weird. There's some icons not showing. Probably need to restart the client. The netherrack scythe, well, any scythe actually, will allow you to harvest a 3x3 area on a right click. That's going to significantly speed up my ability to gather my plants. And if I were to, for example, grab the hopper hawk that I have hanging around in here and apply a chest right next to it in the center of everything, with all these mana pools around, it should do a pretty good... Oh, I'm all out of chests. Imagine that. it should do a pretty good job of allowing me to run through without worrying too much about making sure I pick everything up, because the hopper hawk will do that for me. We're going to set you here and the hawk right there. Hopefully that'll be close enough that even if I were to harvest, say, over here, give it a moment, with mana, it should, yep, it grabs everything. Excellent. So now I can run through like a maniac and just right-click, spam right-click on everything, not worry about the fact that I'm definitely not picking everything up, and then collect all of the extras out of my chest here. No loss. And later on, I can get even fancier than that, but that's going to be a job for later. Come back here, bag. That's going to be a job for later. It's not something I'm going to worry about right now. Also, the scythe is great for when you're breeding and expanding your crops, because you can break a 3x3. Ooh, hang on a second. Okay, correction. Never use your scythe to break a 3x3 area of crops. You will be sad, and you will not get most of your goodies out of it, and you will not go to space today. But yeah, there's my rutile seeds, and the hopper hawk grabs up all of the various seeds, the crops, and essence, and life is good. There we are. I'm pretty happy with this. Let's go get things put away, and then we can start on the real meat of today's episode, where I want to do more witchery. Rutile's right there, iron here, elemental essences. Yay! Okay. So, first things first, on the witchery. We have a new quest to complete down in How the World Changes. They're playing my tune. Dousing an elven dragonstone in lava while exposing it to a whiff of magic will attune it to the magics that form the fabric of the world, making an incredibly useful core for a number of devices, allowing them to channel this magical energy for operation. We are needing to make an attuned stone, and if I were to grab my assembly halo and open up my crafting interface, if I look up the attuned stone, I see that it requires a dragonstone, a whiff of magic, and a clay bucket. Not a clay bucket, a lava bucket, just like the quest said. Dragonstones, if you remember, are created by throwing a mana diamond into the elven portal. And that gets us one attuned stone, which is enough to fulfill this quest, which will give us 2 more. Fantastic. And opens up a whole bunch of new stuff. But before we can really get into the new stuff, we need like a new source of magic. We need to tap into the natural magic of the world that we're slowly creating by bringing life back into it. And the way to do that is going to be through the altar from Witchery, in the Altered Perception quest. Every witch needs a dark altar with which to perform rite and ritual. The best altars are built from rowan stone, rubbed with fumes and anointed with water for good measure. An altar will be more powerful the more nature surrounds it. So, let's take a look at the altar recipe, and it does require rowan wood, exhale of the horned one, breath of the goddess, and water bottles. And we're going to need to make this crafting twice. We need 6 of them. And the book does tell us we need to craft it twice, as it is a crafting task, and we need to fulfill that twice. So, where's my rowan? I'm going to need 4 rowan wood. I'm going to need exhale of the horned one. Wow, I'm actually kind of low on that. That's made with oak saplings. That explains that. Should make more of those. And I'm going to need, was that breath of the goddess? Breath of the goddess. I have lots of those. Don't actually need 4 of these. And then it was just simple stone, wasn't it? Oh, stone bricks. That's fine. Wee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent. So, stone bricks. Now, last bit of essential. It's the water bottles. Hang on. What am I doing wrong? Oh, that's done with actual glass blocks, not glass panes. Here we are. That's better. And I have some water here somewhere. There it is. You get to a point where you stop worrying about having water around because you have it everywhere, and then you realize, oh, I've kind of removed all of the water that I was using. Whoops. You there, you here, you here. 1 altar, 2 altar. Excellent. Now, the altar has naturally a 16 or a 14 to 16 block range, and with upgrades up to an 18 block range. So I'm going to turn on, up to a 32 block range. I'm going to turn on my chunk finder here, and we're going to go ahead and get the altar placed a couple of chunks into the middle of everything. So actually right around this area. Maybe behind the Elven Mana Core. If I place it right here, it'll easily consume everything, check everything in this chunk and this chunk and these 2 chunks going like this. Well, these 4. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll get the altar right back here near the Elven Mana Core, the Elven Portal. Once it's constructed, it gets that little bit of red fabric on the top of it. Questbook says, crafting task complete. We collect 10 Spanish moss, 10 pumpkins, and 10 melons as our reward. All of which are going to make our altar better. Now, if I right-click on the altar, I can see that it has a maximum power at the moment of 370 and is collecting power at 1 times speed. That maximum power is increased by increasing the amount of nature around the altar. For example, if I were to grow a hawthorn, an elder, and a rowan sapling near the altar, which I'm going to do right now, then we can see the results of that. Just set it down and bone meal it to win it. And we're going to need to create a pretty overgrown area over here for the amount of power that our altar will eventually need. But just getting those down increased the altar power to 657. We're going to need thousands in the long run. But there's some upgrades along the way that are going to help us out with that. One of them, as it says here, augmented attunement. While the altar can channel some natural magics by itself, it is much more capable if augmented by various natural apparatus, which act as foci, which are more attuned to these magics. Chalices will boost the power that the altar can hold, while lights such as the candelabra boost the rate at which the altar will charge up this power. Other foci include pentacles, skulls, and arthanas. So we're going to need a chalice and a candelabra here. Actually, we'll do the chalice first. These are both made with gold. And one of them, this chalice, made with an attuned stone, gold ingot, gold nuggets. I believe I have gold nuggets hanging out in my chest here. Nope, I must have used them. That's okay. Get 3 ingots, turn 1 to nuggets, and create the chalice. Fantastic. Now, the filled chalice works better than the chalice, but to fill the chalice, we need redstone soup. And redstone soup is made with a bunch of goodies that you will hopefully have. But if I take a look in my goodie chest for Wool of the Bat, I have none. So we can't quite improve it yet. But if I take this chalice and I set it on my altar, I will see that that 657 times 1 becomes, oops, hold shift and right click, 1314 times 1. So we've already doubled the potential power. Now, some other things you can do with this altar. Actually, I can make wither skeleton skulls with essence of the wither, but I'm pretty sure that I need wither seeds, which are going to take 2 of the skulls. Okay, so I can use one of them now. Excellent. We're going to use up one of these wither skeleton skulls, put that on the altar. We'll have that right in the middle, I think. Yeah, that'll be... No, you know what? Hang on. Part of this is also decorating the altar, getting everything set up just right. So we're going to put the chalice there. We're going to put the skeleton skull here. And now you can see we're up to 26, 28 already. That fast. Now, the other quest item was the candelabra. This one does not increase the power, but it increases the charging rate, requires iron, attuned stone, and torches. Good thing we got those 2 extra attuned stones, huh? Get that made. And this is going to go opposite the skull next to the chalice. Right like that. Okay, that's pretty cool, actually. And now, as you can see, it's up to a ×5 charge rate instead of a ×1. Now, it also mentioned pentagrams. Let's see what the requirements on that are. Cobaltite. Yeah, we can't make that yet. We'll be getting into that soon. It mentioned the Arthana and skulls. We got the skull already. So let's make ourselves an Arthana. Very important, and actually is going to help us a lot with the Wool of the Bat. Need emerald, gold, and stick. No problem. Give me emerald. Actually, you know what? We're going to make 2 of these. I already have enough gold nuggets, so just give me 2 ingots, and I have the sticks. Fantastic. 2 Arthana. One of them is going to go onto the altar. Now, we can see it's currently at 2628 times 5. Add the Arthana, and it becomes, well, it's still 2628 times 5. But the Arthana is what allows it to be, oh, whoops, I broke the whole thing. Is what allows it to extend its range further. So let me show you in detail why that's important for me. We're going to grow a spruce sapling quite a fair distance away. So let's say right over here in this corner. Give that some bone meal. There we go. Big old spruce tree over here. But it's far enough away from the altar that this did not affect the potential power at all. If I put the Arthana back on there, still too far away. Or something. Something's gone wrong. Anyway, let's find out. If I get this melon down here, that gets it up to 2644. If I add another melon, yep, 2660. If I stick a melon, let's say on the other side of this chunk barrier, right about here. That did nothing. But if I get the Arthana in, still nothing. Or maybe it's taking a moment to scan further. The Arthana is supposed to increase the range of the altar, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect, and I'm not certain why that is. So I'll sort that out another time. But right now, having the Arthana will be very useful because this greatly increases the chance of getting drops from Witchery. So that Wool of Bat that I'm eventually going to need, yeah, the Arthana is going to make that a lot easier. Alright, we claim our reward. We get a skeleton skull that we don't particularly care about because we already have wither skeleton skulls from progressing other quest lines as far as we have. And we're going to work on whatever's next. Now, there's a couple of options here. We've got You Spin Me Right Round. We've got the spinning wheel, the kettle, the distillery, and the poppet shelf. For my purposes, I would really like to make the poppet shelf because some of the poppets are very, very nice, and the poppet shelf will keep them active when I'm not around. Getting sick of carrying all of those poppets? Well, no longer, as you think you found a way to let them work their magic without being in your pocket. A poppet shelf constructed with attuned stones can channel the tag lock over distance, allowing the poppets to activate under normal conditions. It's the sort of thing you might wish to keep safe, though. So if I take a look at the poppet shelf, it's going to require another attuned stone or 4, some nether brick, and some green wool. Well, all of that poppet shelf compass. That's neat. Well, all of that's not too terribly difficult to get. Unfortunately, I'm rather low on these dragon stones and mana diamonds for that matter. So I'm going to spend some time off camera stocking up on mana diamonds and dragon stones, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I made myself a pile more mana diamonds and dragon stone, created myself some attuned stone, and also made it so it would be very, very easy for me to make more attuned stone. I simply need to make the lava buckets, and then I can make the attuned stone, assuming I actually have the whiff of magic on me, which now I do. Just like that. So yeah, love the assembly halo. Favorite item ever. I also grew a bunch more plants and bone mealed around and set up a bunch of Spanish moss to grow everywhere. And I think I want some vines, don't I? That would be good. That would be another potential addition to the mass of nature that we have over there. Do I have any vines? I think I have vines tucked away somewhere. You know what? Vines are easy to make. We're just going to grab some nature essence here. I don't remember how much it takes, but we're then going to look up vines, and we're going to create ourselves... There we are. 16 vines. Because I probably have some somewhere, but I don't remember where they are, and I'm not going to slow things down to make them. So I'm now just going to get a bunch of vines placed all over the place, so that this place is a fen of nature. And as things grow, as the Spanish moss continues down, as the vines grow... everything's going to be very high nature power over here, which is great. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Even you, spruce tree, you are not immune to the naturification. Naturification? Yeah. We're going to have overkill power by the time we're done here, and that's the idea. Currently, we are up to 5,364 altar power that recharges at ×5. That's pretty good for just starting our first altar, I think. Yeah, gotta love it. Okay, so let's see. Poppet shelf. That's what we were doing. Have all the ingredients in my inventory for the Poppet shelf. And craft complete. Now, any next step? Nope. We get to claim the Death Protection Poppet, though, which is probably one of the better ones. Oh, I need to get a tag lock. I know I have some made, don't I? Yes, there we go. Tag lock. No? Don't I just shift right click the air or something? Hang on, I forgot how to use this thing. Just a moment. Alright, well if nothing else, I can always go use the tag lock on my own bed with a quick shift click, and then we can get this Death Protection Poppet bound to Purple Mentat. We're going to set up the Poppet shelf. This, I believe, needs to be over here next to the altar, so I'm actually going to put it right there and put the Poppet on it. There we go. And as you can see, it's got a nice little Poppet there. I'm not 100% certain this needs to be next to the altar to give it power, but this has become the Witchery area, so this is where it's going to be. Alrighty, so that would be the end of our episode. We are all out of time. Next time, we will be building more Witchery devices and starting to use some of this fantastic altar power that we are creating, as well as potentially needing to learn how to make even more Witchery, even more altar power, and exploring the mystery of Koboldite. So if you don't know Witchery, you're in for a treat. If you do know Witchery, well, bear with us. We need to go through all of it for the people that don't. You know, people like me. I am learning. Don't worry, I will do the research. I do not need you to tell me how to do this mod. I know how to find that information. So thank you very much for joining me, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I certainly have. If you have, leave me a thumbs up and tell me what you liked about it. And if you have not, leave me a thumbs down. Tell me what I can do better. Either way, interacting like that will ensure I continue showing up in your subscriber feed, I think. And I'll see you next time.